Yo, my people, what's going on? I know we got Coach Sean joining us here shortly. I hope everybody is doing good tonight. Sorry, I'm just getting this set up, making sure it all looks a lot better. And so I'm not so huge on the screen. There we go. That's a little better there, right? I feel better about that. What's up? I know we got people jumping in. If you didn't catch it, we just had a fun little panel over at Around the Table Sports. You can probably catch that replay in the video. That's Ty Hayes. That's our brother. Ty Hayes, everybody. Man, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great people on there. We had PG, we had Jay, Jason, Coach Sean, Coach Smook, and Ty Hayes himself. It was a lot of fun. Me and Coach Sean are going to bring it to you tonight. I know he's going to be jumping in here any second. Just 1 minute here because I'm going to throw him what's up. Kyle Banks, how you doing, man? Roll Tide to you, my friend. Roll Tide to you. I'm trying to play around with these little screens a little bit to see if we get something in like a little better view. I think that's the best view we're going to get right now. Boom. You guys good? So, it's nice to see y'all tonight, man. Happy evening. Yo, Adam, how you doing, man? A-Watt, what's going on, my brother? Great show for sure, Merrill. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. As you guys see, it was a good time tonight. Ty Hayes, Around Table Sports. Like I said, catch it. Go catch what we had to say. We talked a little bit about some different leagues. We talked about ACC. We talked about Big 12. Next time we jump on there, the Real Dynasty 18 times. What's up? Bama Steel, what's going on? Bruce Williams, what's going on? And we talked about Big 12, ACC. It was a lot of fun, man. We really dug into it. We're going to get into the Big 10 in the SEC next week, and we'll see which day that ends up being over on Ty Hayes' channel, Around the Table Sports. If you haven't subscribed, check it out. Coach Sean also has a channel, and I'll tell you, Coach Sean, man, is the man when it comes to this, right? The man. Absolutely love it. His new channel, JMHO Sports Talk, I believe, or Sports, and that's Just My Humble Opinion Sports. We also released a video there. If you guys haven't caught that, it was a really good video. And then, of course, you got me over here, Bama Football on YouTube, jumping on with those guys on their channels. And then you got Coach Smook doing his own thing, Coach Smook Network. So that's pretty cool, man. It's been quite exciting, though, over the weekend and into this whole entire, breakdown with what we've got in the recruiting field, right? And Sweet Home Bam, I see you, man. I see you. Luke Thrasher, what's going on? Andrew Hudson, what's up, man? It's just, great evening. Good to see you all on here, and we're going to continue to roll it through the evening. I got to see if I can get Coach Sean, though, this link over to him so he can jump in here. Matthew Newton, man. What's up, man? I love it. Oh, you fishing? Hey, man, good for you. Thanks for the shout out. Throw a thumbs up for us. Again, if you're not a subscriber or a fan funder, become one. We really appreciate it. So it supports us in this channel. As you jump in, you like our content, throw those thumbs up. Always like to put that out there. It means a great deal to all of us coaches here at Bama Football on YouTube, and so we can support. But like I said, we got a good evening for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Coach Sean will jump back and forth on some topics. I know we got Coach Jarrett coming in, Coach Jay later this evening. Try to jump in with him. Man, it's been a fun evening. It's always fun when you can jump in and tune it up with these dudes, man. 100%. Like, I love getting in with the guys and chit-chatting for sure. And we got Ty. Hey, man, I haven't seen you in forever either. How you doing, Ty? If you didn't catch me and Ty this morning, we were also here on Bama Football on YouTube this morning, talking about the current news and subjects with Bama football. We had a lot of fun speaking on that. Like I said, Larry Large, what's going on, my friend? Larry, what's up? And me and Ty, we broke down some of the new recruits, new commits, 2 new commits we just got. Jamarian Gordon and Dorian Barney. Absolutely exciting. Can't wait for those guys to have a great senior year, finish out this year, and then we get to see him coming up. So that's going to be very, very exciting. But in the meantime, how's everybody doing tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know where you're coming from. Say what's up. And like I said, Coach Sean, I know you guys are all here for some good Coach Sean chat, and he'll be here shortly. So just hold tight, because we're gonna get him in here. But man, I'm excited to have you guys all in here this evening. Yeah, but let me get Coach Sean in here for you guys real quick. Just 1 minute there. I'm gonna send him the link. 1 minute. I gotta make sure I do this correctly. Hold on there. Boom, 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 boom. But and then any questions you guys got this evening, man, just throw them out there. We're gonna try to answer those and get into it, man. One thing for me, I'll tell you, Bruce coming from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I like it, Bruce. I like it, man. And Watt, man, LaGrange, Georgia. I love it, dude. I love it, man. Indiana, never been up there. Been through Georgia a little bit through Georgia on my way to South Carolina. A lot of fun, man. Those areas are so beautiful. The South in general. As you can tell, I don't have a Southern accent. I am not from the South. But I'll tell you, man, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, but got a lot of love. Lived in Alabama for quite some time. It was a lot of fun down there. Gardendale, Alabama. Tuscaloosa, my friend, dude. Real dynasty. I love it. Tuscaloosa. Bass fishing and Bama football by Matthew Newton. I love it, man. It's Khalil Jacobs. Ronald Thompson already throwing something out. And Ronald, I'm going to get to your question. I'm going to answer that with Coach Sean because I'm going to get this link over to him real quick. Just 1 minute there. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, guys. 1 minute. 1 second. Make sure I get this to Coach Sean real fast. Boom, 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 boom. But I know you're asking me about Khalil Jacobs, and I know he was here visiting this weekend. Will he commit? I think that's still up in the air right now with Jacobs, to tell you the truth, my friend. I think Jacobs is, looking over, what he likes and what he's going after. So as far as what program fits him best, and I understand that. I mean, we all do. So that's kind of the biggest thing when it comes down to it. So let me see here. I'm going to make sure I get this over to Coach Sean. Just 1 second there, guys. 1 second. Get this to him. Sorry, guys. I just got to make sure I get the right thing. Sometimes when you're doing these links, they don't always work out perfectly, but that's okay because we're going to get it all set up. And Coach Sean will get in here. We'll talk a little bit more on Khalil Jacobs and what he's kind of looking at. We look at the overall depth with him and what's going on. And there we go. I think we got it over to him. Well, we got it. I think he's coming. So I think the thing is, you're right, Lance. I think he wants to start. Lance Hunter brought this up. He wants to get that playing time in. I think it's beautiful, though, the fact that he does really believe in Womack, and he's looking at those options and saying, hey, this could be somewhere where I do really, really well. So we'll see how it is, and we'll go from there. I know Coach Sean's coming in here, everybody. I know he's coming. Don't worry. I think he's rolling in, but I think with Jacobs too, he's looking at the options of what's going to work best for him in his overall long-term career. I do see Bama as a great place for him from a depth standpoint with linebacker, but at the same time, I think he's also looking at the overall, I guess, length in the time he gets to the playing field. What I like about Womack's defense and overall this defense, and if you see it ran similarly at Washington, there's a lot. The depth is important because there's a lot of rotation. So lots and lots of rotation. But I think we got, Coach Sean, everybody.
What up, broski?
Yes.
My bad for my tardiness. I kind of got locked out. Had to get codes and do all kind of stuff to get back in.
All good, Coach.
How you guys doing? What's up to the undefeated? How are you guys? Good to see everybody in here. Much love to you. What's up, Jake? How you doing, Jake?
Man, Coach, I'm good, man. We just got done with that fun panel over at Ty's channel, Around the Table Sports. Like I was telling everybody, go check out that video. Check out the replay. We had a lot of fun chit chatting about about just in general, like some of these leagues now
Yeah,
becoming these huge teams. You know what I'm saying? Or huge
yeah,
leagues with multiple teams, and what we're looking at from a competitive standpoint, and who's going to be who in which league. So I know we'll get into more of it next week, Ty was saying. So I'll have a lot of fun with that, man.
yes, yes, 1000% perfects. Had a great time. Um, Definitely shout out to Ty. Shout out to everybody that's on that panel, man. I don't want to butcher nobody's name. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to Smook. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to all the great guys. PG, Jay. Shout out to all those guys, man. They awesome guys, man. Much love to those guys, man. Thank you for everybody who tapped in. We appreciate you guys way more than you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jake, have we seen everybody who's in here? Shout out to Ty Hayes, man. Shout out to the Don Illuminati himself. Shout out to Ty. You know what I mean? The GOAT himself, man. What's up with you, Ty? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. What's up, Real Dynasty Tuscaloosa? What's up with your brother? How you doing? How you feeling? Larry Hunter is in the house. What's up? Lance Hunter is in the house. Bruce Williams, the brother A. Watt is in the house. A. Watt, what's good, bro? Ronald Thompson, roll tide to you, bro. Double
Okay.
L is in here, Jake. Larry
Ah,
Large is
man.
here.
Love Larry.
What's up, Larry? How you doing, man? Of course, shout out to the Don Illuminati, as we said, Ty Hayes. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? F2P, what's up with you, bro? Any 5 stars in the 2025 class? We have realistic. We had a realistic shots at a couple 5 stars, brother. A
Yes, sir.
couple, actually more than a couple. You want the truth? Sweet Home Bama 24. What's up with your brother? Roll Tide. Good to see you in here. Um, Bama Steel. Roll Tide to you, Bama Steel. Good to see you. Steven McDaddy's in here. KJ Salo is in here. What's up with you? Darius Fontaine is in here. Georgia football is in the chat. Shout out to you, Darius. Good. Thank you for pulling up, homie. Kyle Banks. What's up with you, Kyle Banks? Roll Tide to you. Who else we got? And I believe that's it, man. Let me go back to the top, make sure I missed nobody. Matthew Newton is in the house.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Matthew? Roll Tide to you, brother. Andrew Hudson is in here. Luke Thrasher's in here. What's up, Luke? How you doing, man? Good to see you guys, and thank you guys for tapping in. Please, just like Coach said, please hit that like button on your way in, man. So we just kind of got a few little things. Me and Jake ain't gonna worry you long, but we wanted to get on your nerves just a little bit. We feeling frisky tonight. Had a good heated debate about all types of wonderful things. And I
Yes, we
still
did.
say, Jake, is it the four best or is it the four most deserving? Take your damn pick. You
Hey,
know what I'm
man,
saying?
no, that was a hell of a debate. If you missed it over there, we were talking about the
Yeah,
playoffs this last year and the four teams and just the
yeah.
playoffs in general, and like how they've been selected. And some of the argument was like, was FSU, should they deserve to be in based on, their record and what they've done, or was it, maybe someone like Georgia, or was it fair to have, Texas and, that Coach Sean disappeared on me. Disappeared. Oh, there you go. We back. We back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
was it fair to have like Texas and Bama in there? And
Yeah.
there's fair arguments back forth. I think Coach. I guess when it came down to it, what the stipulation has always been, and something maybe it was hard. It's harder for me even to look at from that standpoint is saying like most deserving it, or the four best, right? And it's always been about competition. And again, we get into what you had said, or what I guess what Jason had brought up, and that was the ratings. Like the ratings. I
Mhm.
mean, in the end, money rules all, right?
Money rules all.
Money
Yeah.
rules, man. Money talks, and that's what they did.
Especially Jake,
Mm-hmm.
after a team gets beat 60 to something in the championship game, and the
Mm-hmm.
people and the TCU fans are leaving at halftime. Right? Here's the
Oh,
bottom
oh, froze
line.
up a little bit, Coach.
Did
Froze
I?
up just a tad.
Did I?
Oh, he's going through little connections. Oh, we there? We're not there. In and out. Ah,
Am I?
Coach. Oh, there we go.
Is it froze?
It froze a little. It froze a little bit, and then gave a little bit of the
Lag?
leg, and then some murky stuff.
How is
I
it?
don't know.
How is it now? Is it okay
Oh, you're
now?
good now. Yeah, you're good now.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, A Watt. and all my brothers from Bama. And this is not me being a homer. This is the truth. If you tell me Florida State won the ACC conference, they're
Mhm.
undefeated, they deserve to go to the national championship because they deserve to. It's the four most deserving team. Then Bama should then uh, uh, somebody got to go. Florida State need to be in then. Somebody to be in, right? Because they deserve to go. They won their conference. But if that's the case, Liberty won their conference. If you're just going by conference, this is why I am never for that conference champ stuff. This is why all conferences are not created damn equal. You
Oh,
understand
that's
what I'm
true.
saying? Just
True
because you
fact.
win, I watched a Big 12 conference champ in Oklahoma go to the playoffs, and Alabama beat. It was LSU had them 45-12 at halftime, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Mhm.
I watched a Big 12 Michigan State go to the championship game, and Alabama beat them like they were stepchildren. Right? So every conference is not created equal. This is what I'm saying. If you're telling me Florida State deserved to go, and it's the four most deserving teams, then
That's fair.
TCU should have went above Alabama that year. Then Florida State should have went above somebody this year. But
Mhm.
if you're telling me it's the four best teams, then Florida State should not have been in the national championship. Why you say that, Coach Sean? Because when they lost Jordan Travis, that was not the Florida State team that beat up on everybody all season. Why do you say that, Coach Sean? Because I saw you play Florida, and you came a hair's ass away from losing that game. I saw you play Louisville, and you came a mini hair's ass away from losing that game. You want
Yeah.
to put that team in the playoffs? That
Yeah.
team? No, no, you were not one of the four best teams. Unfortunately, when that young man got hurt, and that's just the bottom line, right? So miss me with the record and then won the ACC and all of this stuff. Who had the worst bowl record in the history of national football, college football. So TCU deserved to go over Alabama because they had a better record. TCU was not better than Alabama. Alabama lost two close games to LSU and Tennessee, both on the road,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
TCU got beat up by Kansas State 2 weeks before the playoffs started.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Kansas State won that conference, Jake,
They
right?
did. They did.
Bryce Young came back to school, so did Will, and we went beat Kansas State like Kansas State stole our tennis shoes,
Mhm.
right? So is it
Mhm.
the four best, Jake, or is it the
Yeah.
four most deserving?
No, I mean, you make a great point. I think what's hard, I think for a lot of people is like it's tough, right? Because you look at these teams, especially from the SEC standpoint, and you guys, I think it was me. I think it is my internet's a little slow. I think there's something going on. So, coach, it wasn't you. It looks like it was me who was seeing weird things. Sorry, guys. And Steve, I see you in here, man. Steven Angle, good to see you,
Stephen
man.
Angle,
Burgess, good to see you. Good to see you, Sweet Home
Burgess.
Bama, right? But hey, that's a good point. I think what's hard though is like the principle of the things. And the principle of it is if you do go undefeated, then what is your reward in the end? Because
Facts.
how do so are we taking away from like just winning? And that's the hard part,
I agree.
right? I think that's the thing is like now I why I believe in the expanded playoffs aspect is
Yeah,
that now we have a little bit more flexibility in the fact is if you do win out, even if you win in a weak ass conference, right? At least there's maybe some light and something maybe you could do going into the playoffs, and maybe you're a good playoff team. Who knows?
right.
But it was the principle of it from the standpoint of like, it's hard seeing for me. I agreed Bama beats Georgia, they deserve the playoff spot. Where I didn't
ACC
agree
champ.
with
Yeah,
necessarily was, as I said, was Texas.
yeah,
Texas loses to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma goes on to lose to someone else. I mean, Texas at that point in the season is not the same team that beat Alabama. And again, playing Alabama as early as they played them, they would have lost to Alabama later in the season. We know that. We know they probably would have lost by multiple touchdowns just based on what we saw. So, Alabama made giant strides going in, and that's why they played Michigan harder than anyone else has played Michigan. Truthfully, they
yeah.
probably should have beat Michigan if the right play call was in place for that final play. You know what I mean? So, it's just tough to see because like now you still have at that point your group 5, right? And your G5 and like, okay, it should still be important. It's not just one league rules all. But I'm telling you, like again, Ephraim, you kind of bring up 16 team college
Oh,
football
it's
playoff.
coming.
Get ready. I mean, it is
It's
coming.
coming. Yeah.
Facts are it's coming. So, you know, um, And I know they try to balance some of this league play, and some of this, I guess, the way they try to balance it was with this NIL, right? They're thinking, okay, we can start to minimize like talent monopolies, but the facts are is that didn't work either, right? Because these schools, right, and now I will say Alabama, what you saw with Alabama is they did not have to utilize NIL. Maybe now it's a little different, but they didn't have to utilize it because what they had already done established themselves as the standard of college football. That's huge. But you see what some of these schools are trying, the way they're trying to combat it. And I actually saw something interesting was with their thoughts of NFL versus or NFL over NIL, meaning we can get you to the league. You look at, and this is a good example, and I use it, obviously a little bias here, but I'll use it with Washington. You look at how Fish established and what he did with his staff, right? He brings in Pete Carroll's son as the offensive coordinator. Obviously, he's already with them, but the most impressive one is he brings in Steve Belichick, right? Like Bill Belichick's son is defensive coordinator. Now, you don't necessarily have this massive NIL, right? But you can attract kids with this NFL kind of mindset of look at these great guys who have this established lineage, and you come here, we can really showcase you and run it in an NFL type of system that allows you to really pop off the charts and get your name out there and get drafted. The same thing is like when you're going to camp trying to get recruited, right? And that's how their pitch is. And some of these schools are going that route when they don't have the collective or the NIL backing them, such as, I don't know, like in Oregon, right? Yeah. Oregon has a huge pockets, especially with the help of, Nike sitting there and their in their pockets.
Yeah. Let me say this, Jake. Let me play devil's advocate with you, because you make a great ass point, man. So Texas at the end of the season, I don't think I'm right there with you. I don't think they'd beat Alabama at all. You know what I mean? No. I think they got, but I will say this: if we're gonna give Florida State the credit for going undefeated and hold that as the end all be all, it's got to be, like you said, it got to be something for winning.
Yeah,
Texas beat us, like they beat us. So I don't know how we would have went above Texas, even though we were the better team, but Texas beat us head to head, right, early in the season. So if we gonna hold that to Florida State, where they won all their games, right? We hold that win. It would have been hard to go above Texas, right? So I think that's why they took us both, right? Even though I do believe Georgia was better than Texas, you know what I mean?
100.
I'll say this too. If I get it, bro. I get it. Florida State win their championship, but it's just hard for me to understand. It's hard for me to understand that guy's point on the other panel. You have a chance to play Georgia. If Florida State comes out and beat Georgia in that bowl game, oh, brother, it's a monkey wrench in the national championship. People would have been, they have a huge argument. You choose to sit out and lay down. I don't understand that. I don't understand that, because that Georgia game was just as important as the national championship game. It's the semifinal games. If Florida State bring all their players back and play Georgia, that game is just as important as any semifinal game, right? You have a built-in playoff right there.
I mean, go ahead. I agree with you on no, Coach. I agree with you on that. I think that Georgia game for their program, for Florida State's program, I think that's where it's really difficult to see the guys selecting not to play in those games, right? Like they had all their key guys who would have at least provided competition. Because it wasn't a competition. Georgia stomped them, right? But it would have maybe provided competition if they would have had their key players playing. Again, it hurts losing their quarterback with Travis, right? But I'll say it is kind of like, man, you the fans and everybody are talking all these things, and then you go and play Georgia, and you just get wiped off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
like it doesn't do a whole lot towards your argument at all. If anything, you let the NCAA wins their
Yeah,
argument of saying this is
facts.
why we selected who we selected,
Made it
right?
easy for them.
It did. It made it real easy. So, and that's tough because you can't make players play. So
Facts.
I also get where Jay's argument, who we were talking with on the panel,
Yeah,
I get where Jay is coming from because they didn't have the guys came back to play for a national championship. They don't want to go in that game and get hurt. You're going to have to play lights out. But again, it comes down to the principle of it. Like, you went through this entire season getting after it. I know you feel jaded by the fact that you're not selected in the playoffs, but now you get a chance to go up against Georgia, who just won a national championship, arguably could still be in the playoff
yeah,
perspective based on if we're talking about the four best teams. But instead of giving them hell and actually putting up a fight, it just looks like I mean, it looks like the dog just tore them apart. Like, you know what I mean? It
yeah,
was nothing. I mean, it was not a game. So that was disappointing from there. If they want to continuously make the arguments of where they should have been, that
yeah.
doesn't help your case at all. So
I can promise you this. Even if Jordan Travis was there, Kirby Smart was gonna make a statement after losing to Bama. Georgia was gonna come into whoever the hell they played next and make a statement. Right?
mhm.
They weren't sitting out. Right? So it's something to be said about that, man. And I'll say this: when this stuff was made years and years and years ago, we knew it sucked because you had 5 Power 5 conferences and only 4 slots. So they've been mixing and matching every year, and we hadn't gotten caught. This last year, we got caught. You got all these Power 5 champions and only 4 slots. So somebody was destined at some point to get left out, and they used the Jordan Travis injury as the scapegoat.
They
So
did,
it's
man.
yeah, it
It
did.
did suck, man. And Glenn, I see your question. Glenn threw up a question real quick. Glenn asked, you went to I didn't go to Gardendale, so I didn't play football in Alabama. I actually lived in Gardendale though. I lived there after everything, man. And it was cool, man. I like Gardendale. I think it's really pretty.
Yeah,
So yeah, I didn't actually go. I actually grew up in Washington. That's where I played football.
yeah,
So, but yeah, man, it just is the whole argument behind it, right? It is interesting and it's disappointing that we just don't get. I guess that's why I'm happy the playoffs are in place, right? Like they're
facts.
there for that reason, and whatnot. Hey, Coach, is your video still working?
Yeah. I'm good.
Okay,
I was just wait a
doing your
minute.
thing, man, doing your thing. But the
Yeah,
next part of it
a
is,
little
Coach.
runny nose over here,
Oh
bro.
man, trust me, man. For me, dude, it's this time of year, man. Like you come out and your allergies come out, man.
Yeah,
Like it's just
yeah,
brutal, right?
yes,
But we did get 2 commits, Coach.
yeah. We did, man. I had some information on these kids.
Let's hear it.
Um, got 2 very very young kids. 2020 6 class actually. The first kid I watched film on him. First kid is a corner, obviously 4-star kid from Jackson, Alabama. After I watched him, I see this kid growing into a safety. But his name is Jamarian Gordon, 6 foot, 180 pounds, DB from Jackson, 4-star kid who also had offers from Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, and Florida and Arkansas. 30 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, 7 PBUs, which are pass breakups. Kid is physical. A little stiff in the hips when I watched him, but kid is physical, play coverage very, very well. Come from a high school team with a lot of talent. Seen him playing the field side corner, the boundary, and playing inside. So kid is obviously versatile. Very, very talented young man. Kid just a sophomore, right? So by the time this kid is a senior, he's gonna be a problem. He come from a very, very talented team with a lot of other great recruits on that team.
Mm-hmm.
I really am excited to have kids of this kid's caliber commit to us so young. Kid from the state of Alabama. Shout out to Jamarian Gordon, who's going to be a dog at Alabama, right?
A dog,
Definitely a
man.
kid that's got a future in this football league. What you think about him first, Jake?
Yeah, man, I really liked him. I got to watch some of his film.
Yeah,
And I only saw, and it's interesting too, because if you look at what's put out on some of the sites, I didn't get to see any of the more recent. I saw like his freshman playing varsity, it looked like film.
yeah,
Um, as a freshman, you see what he did, right? He felt the. I mean, he really attacks. The guy has pop when he hits somebody, which I really, really like. I mean, he really goes through the ball carrier. I loved his ability to feel the coverage and feel the routes and understand like where I need to get in to place myself to make the play.
yeah,
Um, I think this kid, there's a reason why they look at him. He's versatile, right? From a standpoint, he could play cornerback because they have him labeled, and some of the recruiting sites have him labeled as a cornerback. I think he projects more to a safety just based on the defense he plays. I mean, he fits the
yeah.
system really, really well.
He does.
Um, has tenacity. He's a young guy. I love seeing, and this is exactly what I thought would be the case with DBs. Is I love seeing that some of our first 26 recruits or commits, I should say, for the class of 26 are defensive backs. I
Yeah,
kind of figured that would be the case with the way, Coach Hitchler and Coach Mo just need to get in place for a minute, right? They need to get in place. They need to build these relationships, exactly what they're doing. And I love the fact that they get this guy. I think he's a perfect fit for the system that they want to run. He's athletic. And again, he's a 4-star recruit, and we'll continue to see how his ranking continues to go up as we go into this next year. So,
facts. The next young man is Dorian Barney. This
mhm.
kid is a top 50 kid. He's a top 50 kid. Kid is 6'1", 175 pounds. He's a true corner. This kid is a corner. Played in a very similar scheme. Kid had 32 tackles, 10 pass breakups. Um, Kid's a baller as well, man. A straight up dog. Mo Linquist had a huge hand in this kid coming to Alabama.
Yep.
Um, he. This kid is another one. Both of these kids are gonna have huge futures for the University of Alabama.
Hmm.
Getting these defensive backs is important, just like Coach Merrill said. And what you think about this kid, Jake?
Yeah, so he's very impressive. Obviously, a cornerback with him and his film. What I liked with him is, man, he's really technically sound.
Hmm.
You look at him; he reminds me a lot of a new guy we just got. And I'm sure you could guess who that is, but that's it with our cornerback in Brown, right? So,
Yeah,
I like the fact that this guy too he's a very high ranked cornerback. You look at
yeah,
him; they have him in kind of different rankings right now, but it looks like he's probably going to project as a top 5 cornerback in the nation.
yeah,
Um, and he just is, for a young guy, you watch his film, very, very impressive. Again, he really comes downhill strong, which I like. I like his aggressiveness, but he feels out the wide receiver well, and he really sticks to his dude when he's in that coverage. But he already uses that vision in break coverage, this style of coverage that we see in this 4-2-5. Really, it's the 3-4 nickel, right? The swarm D, we should say.
yeah,
He uses that coverage already. Same with Gordon. Gordon uses that coverage too, in the way he locks on, and it takes that discipline to understand, like, watch your quarterback, but use your vision to see the
yeah,
field and see what the routes are being ran, right? And so I like what Barney brings. Barney is probably one of the I mean, it'll be hard to argue he's not, one or two top cornerbacks in the class for 2026, just because you already see his film and how productive he is. There's a reason why he's ranked so high already.
yeah.
So like him a
That's a
lot,
whole
man.
fact. That's
Explosive.
a whole fact, man. I mean, I can't disagree with nothing you said. That was freaking awesome. Number 8 player in Georgia, confident kid too, man. His
Hmm.
kid's gonna be very, very highly rated. So I know Georgia's gonna eventually get in on him.
Hmm.
So I really enjoy that these guys are getting these defensive backs now. Let them know the love is there. Recruit them. Be safe, Matthew. Matthew Newton, roll tide, bro. So that's a
Hmm.
great job by Coach DeBoer and his staff, man. I'm just waiting to see them pick up a couple more defensive linemen. You know what I mean? I really want to get those guys in the defensive line. I know we got Coleman. Um, I really am excited to see what's get another one or two or three you know, interior guys, right? We hadn't had those great interior space eaters and interior guys in a long time, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, so I definitely want to see more Quentin Williams type, Barmore type, these kids that can really dominate, that can pass rush and they can stop the run. Both. They don't ever have to come off the field, you know.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to see more of that, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing with this recruiting class is like because a lot we look good obviously early on with linebackers with some of the athletes we picked up who will play either safety or corner or even play our new hybrid
Yeah.
spot with gosh I'm blanking on the name right now. What's our hybrid position called? Can't believe I'm
Uh what on what position?
the safety linebacker. What? It's not the
The
Wolf.
the rover,
Gosh,
the
help us out,
it,
chat.
uh
Undefeated. I can't believe I'm blanking on the name.
Sting Bandit
Yeah.
was uh on the
Well, Husky. Thank you. Gosh, I can't
Husky,
believe that,
Husky.
guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Holy
yeah.
smokes. I just
Yeah.
forgot. The only team I even played for, I forgot the name.
Star with now a Husky, you know.
Husky. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
The Star Husky. I've been watching so much film, though, with different names on these different coverages because I've been trying to break down even more of Saban's old coverage in comparison to the type of coverages we'll see with his old, like, cover seven, basically, right?
yeah,
In that match coverage compared to, like, more of this vision and break coverage.
yeah.
So I've been trying. And they have so many different names that they're playing through it, man. I'll tell you what.
That's
There's just,
different.
yeah. When I've been watching it all day and listening to different guys present it, so
Yeah.
at times it can be confusing. But yeah, I think
Yes.
with some of our athletes that we've gotten right, it will be nice to see some like we're sitting there going, hey man, like we want to see a quarterback. A quarterback's going to
Yeah.
be a huge. That will be a huge direction of what we get from a wide receiver standpoint because wide receivers pay attention to which quarterbacks are going where,
That's
right?
a fact.
So that's something why I think a quarterback's really, really important. And I like, I after looking over everything, I really like Keon Russell, and I hope that's the direction they continue to push and go after, as long as that interest, that mutual interest, is still there. But from the defensive line, I think we have a lot of depth at defensive line right now. That's one thing that guys are
Yeah.
probably paying attention to. But I also think they just want to see how they're utilized into the season. I think there's again so many question marks, especially from the defensive side, and we see that with you guys asking in the chat and undefeated those questions, just because it's a new defense, but I still think it basically is going to be the same type of defense. We're going to see a lot more of the same concepts than what we saw with Saban than what you guys think. I don't think it's going to be as different as we all think. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree 1,000% facts, man. You can tell by the guys that they're bringing in here, man. They loading up on linebackers, athletic linebackers, kids that can run. That 3-4 scheme, it requires bigger, bigger outside linebackers because these guys will put their hand in the dirt a lot. They'll stand up a lot. You require those kids with a little more girth on them, that can play the run really, really well. So I got faith in what they're doing. I got faith in what they're doing, man. I'm just ready for the season to get here.
me too.
A lot of doubt going into Alabama, Jake. A lot of doubt, man. A lot of doubt coming our way, man, from the talking heads. I seen one guy pick us to lose 4 games, so it's sort of laughable at times,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, but we understand it. Okay, we get it. You want so bad for Alabama to be bad. Get it. I'm used to that. So I do think these kids are gonna come into fall camp with a huge chip on their shoulder. Um, and I think our chances of making the playoffs is pretty damn good. I really do. Um, I watched the interview Luke Fickle did today,
Okay.
and he was with I forget the young man's name. If you type in Luke Fickle interview, you'll see it's the first one that'll pop up.
Hmm.
Uh, these guys are when we told you they're prepping for Alabama right now, we didn't lie to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Texas did us a few years back, 2 years back, we went to Texas. Those guys practiced for us all summer long. Um, he's gonna have that Wisconsin team ready, man. You know, facts. Hey, what? Hey, gonna hate, and they're gonna prepare for Alabama like it's their Super Bowl, especially
100.
a team like Wisconsin.
Oh, completely. I mean, it's such a momentum game for Wisconsin. I mean, they it could set a huge direction for their program. So of course they're going to
Mhm.
be prepared. I think though that was the thing that everybody, I think, with Washington and DeBoer, they
Mhm.
knew that Washington had kind of open, especially after watching Washington those first three games and the amount of points they had put up, and that's why I feel real confident with KD and his philosophy and his mindset and how he prepares his teams week in and week out. Want to know every day, right? In this
Yeah,
winner's mindset and sticking to these key philosophies that we stay together, we focus on the task at hand, step by step, and we go 1-0. I like this new direction of this like kind of positive reinforcement. Not saying Saban didn't, but what's interesting is I actually listened to an interview of Coach Saban early on while he was at Michigan State. And you know what he was preaching in that interview? It's like an hour long where he's at a coaching clinic talking about it in Michigan. But he's a coach at Michigan State, and he's preaching positive reinforcement. Very interesting, right? Because a lot of people, what they have seen from Coach Saban is they've seen the ass chewing and
yeah,
his getting after guys. And it feels like more of a hard ass type of mentality or atmosphere. I think behind the scenes, what we miss out on and what we don't get to see, because there also was very limited amount of access at
yeah,
Alabama to when Saban was there, but we don't see how he really worked with his guys and developed those relationships to allow him to get after guys and them not walk away what we would say butthurt.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying, Coach? Like,
yeah,
because you, in order to get after a guy that way, there has to be a understanding of already mutual respect and mutual kind of how do you say it, mutual love and
yeah.
understanding, like that. Hey, he's getting after me because he wants me to be the best I can be. Okay.
Facts.
So with Saban, all you got to see, his highlights are ass chewings, right? If you go through YouTube and you look at Saban, you could go through multiple videos of watching him just get after kids. And
Yeah,
so they're like, there's no positive reinforcement, Saban. Man, wait, time out. Behind the scenes, Saban has a very different perspective, different mindset, and different like play, right? And how he builds these kids up and helps them become young men. So
yeah,
that's the key there with Saban. So the facts are is when people bring up DeBoer, right? DeBoer, it's not like his expectation drops, but DeBoer has a very his style of play, his style right now, and especially right now because it is so early, and this brings me back to what we were talking about with Wisconsin. Okay,
mhm,
is that with DeBoer, right? And it's so early on that he's still earning that same respect to get into the ass chewings. It's not like they don't happen, but he's not going to put a kid on blast in front of the media. It's just it,
yeah,
behind the scenes, he's not also screaming their ears off. But he, like I said, two different styles of dads, right? You got the dad
yeah,
who pulls that belt out and whoops your ass and lets you know how much you messed up. And then you got the dad where you mess up, you get in the car, and you are just sank because you can feel the disappointment. He doesn't have to say
yeah.
anything. He just drives it home. It's silent, and you feel the disappointment. That's more of the style I think you see with DeBoer, and I think it works. I think it's really good. You know,
I
so
do too as well. I mean, and like we've talked about before, shout out to Patriot Life. What up, Patriot Life, man? What's going on with you, bro? How you feeling? How you doing? My broski from another Moski. Uh my boy Coach Jay in the back waiting to come up. You know what I'm saying? Come on
mhm.
through, Coach Jay, whenever you ready. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
agree with you, Jake. And I know we talked about it before, but I can't stress enough that these kids today are a little different, and I tell people all the time, what's up, Buck? How you doing, Buck? Roll Tide, Buck, Roll
Yo.
Tide. Hey, facts. Hacker Music is in here. JLB, Jimmy Lee Baker, Roll Tide Patty's in here. So we try to put 1990s, early 2000s stipulations on 2024 kids. we can't expect these. I know Adam is real. If Adam was in here, what's up, Bear? Shout out to Bear, man. How you doing? Run the table, Sports TV. J. Cole, what's up with you, cuz? How you doing? I know I get it. Adam is like really hard on the kids, calling them soft and all that. But see, I don't think that's it. Adam is
Adam,
tough on.
man. You
Yeah, but
damn
see,
Adam Lamparillo. Nah, you're a
I
good
don't
dude,
think
Adam.
that's it. I'm gonna
I
tell you
don't
why I
think
don't think that's it.
mm-hmm.
It's not that the kids are soft. It's the environment they're growing up in is just different than we grew up in, right? I mean, for God's
100%.
sakes, bro, you can't even whip your kid's ass anymore without going to jail.
Don't
Bro, do
trust me.
you realize when I was growing up, mama would go get that switch about 4 foot long off that tree and wear that ass out. And if she didn't do it, the neighbor was gonna do it. If you do that today, man, you doing a jail bid, right? So
Trust me, coach. I know
these
that,
kids,
man. What's up, Chris?
yeah, the environment. What's up, Chris from New Jersey? Brian Russell. The environment is different, bro. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that the kids are softer. It's what they're growing up in. It's just different times. Look. I tell this story all the time in high school, bro. I was at BJ. Well, I ain't gonna say where, bro. Listen, kid, coach get on the kid. Kid tell the coach, "F that. I'm tired of you being on me all the time, every day." He not even understand the coach on him because he want him to be great. He see it in him. These
Yeah.
kids today, man, cuss your ass out, don't care, quit. You know what I mean? It's just the environment we grow up in, Jake. It's unfortunate,
Mm-hmm.
but these kids are not coming up in the times we grew up in.
No,
It's just
man.
not the same, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's truth. Like today, you look at the kids and what you're seeing in the football field, and I think it's a bummer because I come from that same time frame, coach. It's like, man, I can't tell you how many times I got the switch or the belt or the spoon. Man, I think I had a couple wooden spoons broken over my ass cheeks. But
Shoot,
I'll
yeah.
tell you what, like it's different though because now with that being said, and everything the way it's happened, right? With the way that kids are almost in a weird way maturing early. And Coach Jay, what's going on, my man? What's up,
Hey,
Coach
what up,
Jay?
What's
cuz?
up? What's going on?
What's
What's
up?
up,
We're
bro?
just talking about this new era, right? Of kids growing up, and I was saying that with kids now, right? There's almost a new way to earn respect. Instead of
Yeah,
demanding, right? There's a new style of earning the respect for your team and your play. And we saw how successful that was at University of Washington, how DeBoer did it. So I do not saying again, we have different cultures too, from the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast to the South, right?
yeah,
Like the South still has this instilled culture of a hard mindset. But again,
yeah.
now with the way recruiting works and just how connected nationwide from recruiting, you're not just recruiting one area right now and one culture. You're recruiting this whole area all over, right? So you have to have a balanced attack towards how you motivate and how you get that respect. And Coach Saban was on a different level just from what he had achieved. But I think the biggest thing, right, is now we look at Coach DeBoer, a newer coach. He's going to have to go about a different style. And I respect the style that he's going about. I think it's perfect for transition.
What you think, Coach Jay?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's definitely different, especially nowadays when we have NIL, when more kids have a lot more power compared to when they how it used to be. Before the incentive was go to camp, do your best possible, get those scholarships, create more invitations, try to that was our value. Increasing our value was by simply getting offers. That was it. We didn't get any money. For the most part, of course, again, we got to be realistic. There are some people that would slip some here and there, and they even did this at high school. Can't tell you how many times at the high school level where the private schools will go on and just like, hey, we understand that we understand that from where you're from, you're going to go to this school, but we see how you are, and they're scouting these kids in middle school, like Pop Warner, Little League, all that type of stuff. They're scouting them and saying, we can slip you. Like, you don't have to pay any tuition. We can slip you over here and you can come over here. And so, that was our way of creating value, was doing the best that we possibly can. And that was it. Nowadays, though, I mean, if you create value, that's going to equal dollars, right? That's going to equal dollar signs. That's going to equal hundreds of thousands of dollars, exotic cars, luxury cars, right? Moving your mom and moving your parents into like into a new home. Like that's value, right? That's now kind of creating the sense of value there. And so, one of the biggest complaints, and I keep seeing this all the time, was the fact that Saban just couldn't really compete in the NIL era. Was the fact that he was scared that the players had that sort of power in the first place. Which again, I don't know how. Again, we've said this as Bama fans. We know that's very, very false. If anything, Saban was trying to warn the NCAA, and he was trying to warn the Supreme Court of saying, if you give these kids too much power, it's not going to hurt me because I'm paying. My legacy's already in stone. I have no idea why fans will say this hurt me, but this hurts y'all. Because that hunger, that incentive, that drive, in order for you to get to the league, that's now starting to weigh down. That's now starting to kind of, because let's be honest, a lot of us went to the NFL. A lot of us wanted to go to the NFL to get paid, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us they wanted to go some because they wanted to be the best. But for a lot of our professions, for what we want to do at the professional level, a lot of our dreams was we look at that salary, we look at the fact that that's a 7 to 8 figure deal. And we say, okay, that's the path we want to go. I'm already a hell of an athlete. That's the path I want to go towards. And the fact that you're eliminating that, I mean, nowadays it's high school. These kids are getting paid under the rug in high school. So the fact that you're eliminating that hunger and you're leading that drive, it's going to create a lot more opportunities for the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star guys that are getting that 1 or 2 scholarship offer. It's not going to help the kids that get you around 20, 30 offers, right? Because let's be honest, a lot of kids, they don't even know about the camp setting. They don't even know it exists, right? Because they're coming from small towns, right? They're coming from the small towns, or maybe they don't have the information in order for them, or the advice. They don't have the mentorship or the advice from their coaches. Because I've seen this happen where coaches would not even tell their kids about camp settings in their own city. Like they're 10, 15 minutes away from that camp, and they don't even know about it because their coaches never even told about it, because they did this on purpose, because they want these kids to focus on the season. They don't want these kids to worry about camp settings and going and traveling thousands of miles away. They don't want them to focus on that. They want to focus on, okay, I have this kid at my disposal. I know that he's a 4- and 5-star talent, or one of the best kids in my state. I need him to get focused on my team. Right? Because at the end of the day, the coach is looking out for himself. Most of these coaches are looking out for themselves because that's their way of living, right? So, it is what it is, man. I mean, like I said before, it's a different era. And again, my era was not. I mean, it was 2012 all the way through 2015. So that was my era, which was, I would say 4 to 5 years before NIL actually really simply existed. So it's not that far off. But I also can sit up here and say, well, I'm a little bit from the middle side of things, where I did see where even though I am young, I am seeing these players denied opportunities, and these players trying to find a way to create value for themselves. And you can see that hunger and drive within them. And nowadays it's gone. Like, you don't really see it that much anymore. So it is what it is. It's my thoughts.
And look, I'll say this, man, because I have very, very, very good experience with it. When NIL first came out and those initial high school boundaries were set, those small boundaries, I was just finishing up here at BJ and at BJSS, Coach. And here's the thing. I had to take a 3-day class on this stuff, bro. 3 days, 4 hours a piece, and deliver a presentation to the parents on the kids who's going to college. So I'm well versed in this NIL stuff, bro. And you have to understand, man, the average fan don't understand. Like, the average fan probably thinking, how in the world are they going to get these kids this money? I would tell the average fan, before you get mad at the kid, you need to see what caused this, right? I've told that story 3 or 4 times on this channel. I won't tell it again, but what I'm telling you is, in the United States, let's just say it like that, It is illegal for me to use, let's just say I didn't even know Jake. It is
Yeah.
illegal for me to take Jake's face, Jake's name, or anything that looked like Jake and put it on my product and sell it and not give him a dime.
That's
The
right.
scholarship is not going to cover that. It has nothing to do with your school representation. It has nothing to do with what position you play. It is illegal to put. I bet you wouldn't take Kim Kardashian's name and go put her name on anything. I bet you wouldn't take her likeness and put it on your product. Guess why
Right.
you would? Guess what? Why wouldn't they do that, Jake? What'll happen within 24 hours of her finding out that you're using something of hers?
Oh, you get a massive lawsuit. There you go.
Boom. So what's been going on from the beginning of time is in this state, I can only speak for Alabama, you have an abundance of people that have used these athletes' faces, names, and images on golf tournaments, promoting cars, selling Winnebagos, all this stuff. And people have been getting paid, bro. Right?
Yep.
So now these kids of 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, whatever it was, now these kids are like, nah, It's a situation. I won't get into the details because it's public record. Go look it up.
Yeah.
Galu Tungavailoa, right? Comes to Bama, sees kid's face on a big ass billboard, right? He calls his son to it. You gave such and such Winnebago service the permission to use your face to promote.
Yeah.
No, Dad, I don't know nothing about that. He walks in the dude in the place and let me speak to the manager. They know that's to his dad. Everybody's scuffling, getting pictures. Excuse me, sir. Why did you give? Why do you have my son's face on your billboard? Oh, I'm an alumnus of Alabama. I can do that. Now everybody's coming in there trying to buy Winnebagos because everybody love Tua and these rich people. They think Tua endorsing this. I'm gonna buy me a Winnebago. I like Tua so much. Tua don't get a dime. You know what I'm saying? That's illegal. You cannot use nobody's face. Well, now in 2024, if you do that, guess what? I got to have 20% or
That's
whatever
right,
you
man.
decide on.
Yeah, whatever.
So before you blame these children for just doing the same thing that college football is doing, I say this all the time, and Jake is from the West Coast. USC is in the Big Ten. Let that sink in just for a second. I know we talk about that all the time, but just for about 3 seconds. The University of Southern California, right? Southern California, USC, bro, is in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Right? TV contracts, money. So don't blame these kids for being greedy. Blame these adults.
100, man. Like, where's the problem start, right? The root of the problem. 100%. And it's disappointing that we have to go so far into that, because how do you change that? I don't know if that will ever even change. Problem is all you can put in is restrictions and protections, or what they call protections, right? That are at times can be facade, like this illusion that we're protecting, but really what we're doing is we're just routing the noise somewhere else so that way it doesn't come back on us. You know what I mean? So it's disappointing. I mean, I look back on the day and when I was playing, and I wish we could go back into time, because there was almost, it felt like a purity of the sport because there wasn't as much noise, but at the same time, the stuff was still going on. So it just would have been nice to see them address this in a way that was more beneficial without the chaos. Going through the chaos sucks, as we're seeing right now. You know, so
greed, man.
Greed, dude.
These businesses. Why do you guys think in the chat that the Supreme Court was like, nope, don't call us. Nope. We don't want nothing to do with it. You know why? Because they know this has been going on since Ed O'Bannon in the basketball game 25 years ago. They were the first two to complain about this. Hey, man, these players y'all playing with sure do look like me. If you're going to play with me, you should be paying me. Oh, no, you're a college athlete. We can't pay you. But everybody getting paid. Getting paid. So this is what I'll say. And Steven, you my boy. Let me pick on you for a minute, Steven, because you my partner. You are our partner. We love you to death. Let's say you got a 17-year-old son. Let's say I don't know you at all, right? Let's say I'm an alumnus of the University of Alabama, and I have a lawn business, right? Big lawn business, commercial, making about $4,000 or $5,000 a week of different lawns, right? Okay, cool. Let's just say I'm cool with your son. Your son is a quarterback at Alabama. He's going to be a quarterback at Alabama. I took your son's face and put it on the side of my truck, right? He's a highly touted 5-star. Everybody thinking he promote my lawn business. Now I'm getting yards everywhere, right? I'm cutting the Mal Moore Center for another $2,000. I'm cutting, So at some point you're gonna find out about that, right? You step in like, excuse me, coach, why you got my face? I don't know. I graduated from Bama. I don't owe you nothing. You can't do that no more, bro. You can't do that anymore. If you're gonna use these kids, Milo's Tea was the first. When this became legal, Milo's Tea said, you know what? We ain't going backwards. We're not gonna go backwards. We made all this money. Bo Nix, I'm gonna give you 20% of whatever. Malachi Moore, I'm gonna give you 20% whatever. And I'm gonna continue to use y'all face on my tea. I'm gonna break bread with y'all, and we gonna call it even. Capiche? This is what's going on. So we cannot be mad at these kids for like, I want more, right? Well, they're entitled, of course, but it's an entitled system.
Yeah, 100%, coach. You dropped it on that. Speaking of Milo's real quick, just real fast on that. Milo's, first time I go down to Alabama, I moved down there. And then there somebody's like, hey, let's go through, we're going to go through Milo's drive-through.
While you telling your story, Jake, here you go. Keep going. Here you go. Wait a minute. Right here. Here you go.
Yeah, man. Oh, geez. Yeah, oh, my goodness.
Coach Jay.
Just another day, man. Just another day. No, it's all good, Adam. I have a lot of respect for you, man. It's all good. It's just always funny, man. You always come in here saying everyone's soft as shit. but man, no, going back to Milo's, man, I moved down to Alabama and they're like, hey, we're going to go through Milo's. I'm like, what the hell is Milo's? I'm thinking, I don't even know what Milo's is, man. And they're like, no, it's good. It's a burger place we go through. They're like, you just got to take a bite. Well, I'm going to put this out there real quick. Before they took me to Milo's, they took me to Crystal's. I am not a Crystal's burger guy, dude. I can't even smell Crystal. I'll like start to gag. It's gross. But instead, so I'm like, hell, I'm not biting in this damn Milo's burger. I'm going to throw up. You know what I'm saying? But no, man, I had that Milo's and I was like, oh my God, this place is amazing. They got nothing like that up here on the West Coast, man. Like, nothing, man. But Milo's is good, man. But Crystal's, hell no. That's not for me.
Meat. What burger is great?
I don't know, man. Rats. Get some rat meat
Coach
in there.
Jay. Speak to this, Coach Jay. Go ahead. Adam has something for you.
Listen, I'm telling you, man. You look at the end. So I'm gonna tell a quick story of a couple of Bama players that played for my Buffalo Bills. Right, I'm gonna talk about Marshawn Lynch. I'm gonna talk about Marcel Darius. Now I'll start with Marcel Darius first. Marcel Darius was probably one of the hardest working people for Nick Saban, right? For the Bama team, for the Bama process. He grew up in the state. He knew exactly what it took. He was a national champion. First round pick, number 3, again, 3rd overall pick. For it. But when he came to Buffalo, man, once he got that money, man, he was a eater. Wings. I mean, chicken wings, burgers. He was out on Chippewa Street. I mean, he was.
I thought you were talking about eater. I thought you were talking about the guy's a baller on the field. No, this guy's actually eating food.
Yeah, he's eating.
He's an eater, dude. This guy's hitting every restaurant he can.
Man, he's eating. He is downtown. He's like he's in the club. Like he is chilling. He is. Like I said, hey, Sammy Watkins was the same situation. Sammy Watkins was the same thing when he first got to Buffalo. One of the hardest workers. Right, the first 2 weeks he was. He was at the facility at 4:00 in the morning. All of a sudden, the season starts. You get more comfortable, get more acclimated. When you see him downtown, Chippewa, in the bars, in the clubs, and this is for a lot of professional athletes. This is what I'm trying to say with these college players. Once you give them the authority and you give them the power, at this particular point, they're professional athletes. They're going to do what professional athletes do now, which is they're going to have a lot more freedom. Right? These kids, nowadays, a lot of these kids, they're taking classes online. right? And it's not synchronous. A lot of these classes are asynchronous, so they get to, you get to take these courses whenever and whatever, it's your schedule. It's based off your schedule, right? It's not, for the most part now, and that's for a lot of athletes nowadays, right? Because of the height, the requirement, and simply the fact that these kids got the money, and they want to take the least path to resistance to get what they can get. So these kids, at this point, they are professional athletes. The only thing that they don't have is contracts, which I think honestly could be here sooner than later. I think there will be contracts. So again, once that money is in your hand, people say, hey man, I will never change if I get this much amount of money. You're not going to say that until it's actually in your hand. Once that money's in your hand, man, I'm telling you, that hunger, that drive that you once had to grind, it starts to kind of I'm not going to say it's for every athlete, but it tests you. It really tests you as a person. Because I'm telling you, like Marshawn Lynch, Marshawn Lynch was one of the coolest cats you will ever see around the area, right? He was all over the city. Yeah. But Marshawn Lynch, when he got a little bit of money, let's be honest, he did some things that honestly he wouldn't be proud of. And that's for a lot of athletes, this is how it is when you get money in your hand. And so, when you're the man of the hour, when you're getting paid all this NIL, look at Texas. These kids are getting signed to Lamborghini deals. Ferrari in Austin is they're about to open up a Ferrari car dealership in Austin. And Texas, not that far. It's not that far from Lake Travis. One of the largest Porsche dealerships in the world is located there. They're handing out Porsche 911 GT RS3s for free to these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a car guy, you know what I'm talking about. It's insane what's kind of going on. So these kids, they are getting handed. Again, you work hard to a point where, you get the money, you get the cars, you get everything that you had hoped, that you dreamed of as a little kid. At this point, what's the point for a lot of these kids to work hard and get to the next level? When you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're putting your parents in a position that they never thought they would be in. You start to accomplish not just your dreams, you're accomplishing your parents' dreams by simply becoming a person that's in the 1% of the world, right? That's what people tend to that don't really grasp it. These kids, the money that they're earning right now in high school and college now, that's top 1% on the planet. Not people would kill to be in that sort of position. And so again, it tests you, man. It tests your fortitude. It tests your drive. It tests your character. And for a lot of people, for a lot of athletes, it will fail. It will fail. But that's just how it is, Adam. That's just how it is nowadays, man. Now, like, these kids back there in the day, they hung towards tradition. That's what they hung towards. They hung towards tradition because that was what they grew up to, right? We grew up with Reggie Bush. We grew up with Vince Young, right? We grew up watching these players and what they had to do in order for them to get to this level. And even in college, they weren't getting paid that much. Well, they weren't really getting paid that much unless it was under the table. And even then, they weren't getting paid that much compared to what these kids are making now. It wasn't until you got to the pros where, okay, now I can relax. I got my money, because once you sign that dotted line and you get that major signing bonus, yes, you got federal taxes. You have, of course, you have all these other stipulations, which is going to take it away. But once you sign that dotted line and you get that signing bonus, now I can relax. Nowadays,
see, I hear Adam, but this is what I say, and I coach high school ball, man, for 4.5 years, and 7-on-7 for another 4 years, 3.5 years, almost about 8 years of being around these kids as recent as 2022. Let me say this, man.
Oh, RS3. Oh, sorry, Akram.
These kids are not, bro. Listen, I lived in Chicago 8 years of my life. These kids will beat your ass, man. These kids ain't soft these days. These kids will hurt you, bro. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to tell you is these kids are more animalistic than we were. These kids will blow your face off and go home and eat a sandwich and go to sleep and they don't care. These kids ain't soft, man. The world that they're growing up in is soft, right?
Ooh,
Again,
I like that.
you can't whip your child's ass anymore without going to jail, bro. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, if you did something wrong, your neighbor would string you up. If you do that nowadays, it's a fight coming after that. You understand that? You have to understand, bro. We got to get off this trip where we keep calling these kids soft because they taking advantage of the same system that adults ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again. We got to stop calling kids soft because they're taking advantage of the same system that we ruined. We did it. Our greedy ass.
100%.
There was a video. It was actually a viral video of Florida. It was the Florida Gators, and it was their entire parking lot for their sports facility, and it was pretty much a lot of the players' cars. It was nothing but Scat Packs, Demons, Chargers, Mustangs, all of them, like 30, 40 cars in a line. And it's like, this is the era that we're living in. This is how it is nowadays, man. These kids are, I mean, they're getting, this is what, you do what you need to do I want to
ask Adam this. If Isaiah Bond is a disgrace because he went to another university to get his money, what is Willie Taggart a disgrace? Is what's the kid at Duke? Is Manny Diaz a disgrace? Ask me why I say that. Manny Diaz stayed at Temple for 3 days. Miami called. He had just signed a damn contract to coach Temple. Miami called. They fired Al Golden or whoever was there, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what he did? Well, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? More money, job I want. Nobody said a damn word.
Yeah.
Willie Taggart, he stayed at Oregon for about 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Florida State called. Well, I got to go, right? Even though I just sat on your couch and told your kid about accountability and had a speech with him about accountability, I got to go. Better job calling. Nobody said a damn word. But we're going to get mad at these kids because they taking an opportunity that your ass would have took to if you had
it. More. You saw those kids on that Instagram live. They said he didn't even tell us nothing. He told us for like 2 minutes about what happened, but we were blindsided. Those kids felt blindsided.
Yeah, they didn't I will say this real quick on those notes with coaches leaving. There is a protocol around coaches. It is up to, once the coaches decide that they are gone, it is then up to the administration of that school how long they get to do anything. So like, for example, even like Jed Fish when he left Arizona, and other coaches talk about this, but when they leave, it's like, all right, your office needs to be packed. You have this much time to do this and this much time to do this, and then you need to be out. And Grant, I understand that schedule, but they are given a pretty strict like time limits as far as what they're allowed to address, which I think is absolute bullshit. But because the university is seeing, oh no, we can't let time slip. I mean, we saw it. I mean, Alabama was a perfect example of this. As soon as they found out and they knew Saban was retiring, what'd they do? What did Greg Burns say? How long did he say until he would have a new coach? They cannot let the time slip, right? It's like 48 hours, I think he said. You cannot let that time slip because then you miss out on opportunity for somebody else. So there's a weird, that whole like leaving to this, to that, and all these coaches moving. Everyone's like, well, the coaches are doing them dirty by not even talking. The problem is not so much that. It's the problem is people don't want the pockets affected by the university, or the university doesn't want the pockets affected by the coaches leaving and these changes. So how can we save face as quickly as possible and go from negative to positive, right? And generate positive publicity again. It's a giant game, and that's what's disappointing. I will say, as far as what we're talking about with these kids, again, you guys now know my background, right? Like I was a police officer before this. So, and I did a lot of stuff as a cop. I did it for a long time. I'll tell you, it's very interesting that a lot of this is brought up as far as this entitlement and kids, and the things that I saw, right, were pretty I mean, shoot, man, pretty interesting as far as where these kids come from and what we've done. And
It's a
Coach
fact.
Sean is spot on with what you're saying as far as it's not so much the kids' fault as much as what they have been exposed to now. And it's very easy to be exposed to it with social media, with pictures and cameras and everything that's out there with our
Videos.
phones, right?
Yeah.
Our phones
Yeah.
24/7, man. Like there wasn't a day I could walk down the street where I was being recorded just for being in a uniform because everyone wanted to see me do something negative. I'll tell you right now, that was never the case. If you wanted to record me, I was probably either playing football, basketball with the kids in the neighborhood. I found ways to
Yes.
connect with the community because of the way I was raised, the experiences I had prior in life, especially with football, and in general, understanding how to kind of build and find positive reinforcement. I think that's what we truly have in Kalen DeBoer. So before we go backwards and negative on these things that, man, it doesn't feel the same. These are the question marks. I'm worried because we don't have discipline. You have to remember this. The discipline has already been instilled into the standard of Alabama. It's already there. Okay. Nothing's going to change the discipline, anything. If anything, go listen to what Greg McElroy said, right? And he says the same thing. He goes, there's almost an anxiety, right, where you were scared in a way to mess up with Saban. He goes, and not saying that's a negative thing because some people thrive in that environment. Some people thrive in the environment of pressure. But I will say this: there's other guys, and I think especially with today, right? Especially with today, I think where you do thrive is with the kids. They don't need any more pressure. Our everything going on in the world is giving them enough pressure. So you bring them
Fans.
into somewhere, the fans, the media. I mean, just the craziness every single day. I mean, look at the kid who I pray for in Betty at Auburn who just got shot and his brother got
Yeah.
killed. Super sad. This shit shouldn't happen. This shouldn't be the case. And people are going to blame it and say, well, he was in the wrong place, wrong time.
Fact.
Fuck no. Sorry.
It's a fact.
That's the facts are is you don't blame that kid. That shouldn't even happen in general. That's just the way the mindset of what's going on in our communities around us is what makes it difficult. So what I love about Alabama and why I tie this back into Alabama football is now you have a coach who understands this landscape really well. He's genuine, sincere. He might not be the hard ass that everyone wanted to see because, as Coach Sean has said, we have been Sabanized, right?
Yes.
The population of Alabama fans have been Sabanized by success after success and hard ass ground pound, knock your lights out if you mess up. The facts are those we now are in this culture in this day and age where that might not necessarily work to get you to the pedestal of success that Alabama has always had, right? So utilize this genuine sincerity, which, to be honest with you, is going to speak a lot more to kids today when they find stability and they find a safe place to perform and reach their full potential and be themselves. Let's see them come out of these shells instead of the anxiety that we already place around them in the world. That wasn't there back, 2000, what would it have been 2007, right? When he gets there, Saban, right? 2007, 2007 till, when he just retired, right? It was changing when he retired, but back during that time, we could still utilize this hard mindset discipline style. It's changed now with everything that's gone on in the world. So Alabama, if you want to talk about a team that's in the right place, has the right person in place from a leadership standpoint, and the types of coaches he's put around him, we have the personnel and the coaching staff that are going to get these kids to perform at their highest level. They're the most potential, their highest level of performance. That's what excites me. That's how come I can sit here every day and get on here and you guys hear me talk, why I can go an optimistic route and feel good about the route I'm going and not just be sunshine and daisies all the time, right? Because that's what it sounds like a lot of times when I talk. But the truth is I'm speaking from a perspective of the outside world, outside of what Alabama and what DeBoer is doing there and the culture that he has. The outside world is chaotic. It's chaos.
Yes.
All right. We have done that as a nation, sadly, and created a bunch of shit and false narratives that shouldn't even be out there. And we put these kids out there and say, okay, figure it the fuck out on your own.
Yep.
Messed up, man. So I like the style that DeBoer's going, and I'm going to go with that for a long time. You're going to see me support that 100%.
All facts, Jake. And I'll say this before we wrap it up, man. Adam says leaving a program for the right reason is fine. But here's the thing, Adam, you thinking like an adult. What you think is a right reason might not be his right reason, right? Mm-hmm. You sound like a 40-year-old man. What's the right reason? Do you know Isaiah Bond's living situation? Would you think it was the right reason? That's just hypothetically saying it. I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm gonna give you a scenario that I know of. What if his mother worked 2 jobs, come home, she walk into Walmart because they don't have no car, the bags, you can see where the bags are cut in her arm, the indentions in the arm, 4 kids. Would it be the right reason to leave Alabama and go to Texas for money then? You thinking like a fan, right? You a fan. You can afford to think like that. You don't understand these kids' situation. You said, I would be honored to play for Saban. I would be honored to play for Saban. But guess what?
100.
I went to Alabama A&M University. Our rival was Alabama State. I can't stand them, right? About as bad as I hate Tennessee. When I was growing up in the projects in Chicago, if somebody offered me $400,000 to go to Bama State, I'd have been a Bama State alum the same day. People think the way they think because they can afford to do that. When you live in these kind of lives and my conditions ain't your conditions, 100. You can't tell me what's a good reason, bro. Right? Mm-hmm. This is why adults don't need to make decisions. Adults who are not in the room with these kids don't need to make decisions for them. Yeah. Right? 100, this is a fact. Go ahead.
And I think at the same time, and Coach J, I don't mean to skip over you. I just kind of add this last point to that. At the same time, that's why it takes the right people and the mentors. I mean, you guys saw us have Donnie Lee Jr. on here the other day, and we had a chance to talk with him on Friday, right, Coach Sean? And Donnie talks about that program, the lab, and utilizing the resources and helping guide kids in the right direction. And again, there's a lot to be said with these men, and this is where my passion is for football, right? Because I know that football will end. Football is going to end for every single one of these kids. They might not realize it yet because it's a hard thing to get through someone's head until it ends. But when it does end, you want to make sure that you're in a position that is best for your life. So how do we make sure that we put these kids in the best circumstances, the best situations? We put the best people out there with the best types of programs and mentorship that allows them to succeed and find and have that guidance. Sometimes you're not going to listen. Well, a lot of times you're probably not going to listen to your mom and dad, but you are going to listen to a coach, and that's where I clap to DeBoer and his staff.
That's a fact. I mean, that's a fact. And like I said, sometimes if you have the coach that knows how to that has the experience and knows how to get you there, yeah, you will listen to him probably more than your parents.
Yep.
And it's that when you have that right coach, man, I'm telling you, it's going to change your entire worldview. It's going to change your entire worldview. It's going to change how. I think at least from me personally, like one of the best coaches I got, shout out to Coach Tapp, who played for Brown. But, he just, again, when he taught me the business aspect of football in terms of what is sometimes, again, loyalty isn't really the best choice. That would be sometimes loyalty is the dumbest decision you ever can make when it comes to collegiate sports, because at that point you're thinking about everybody else, which is a great mindset to have. But in some cases, sometimes you got to think about yourself. You got to think about what, you got to think about 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. When you have a family of your own, you're going to look back and saying, "Damn, I stuck with this. I stuck with this college or this university because I wanted to be loyal, but I could have made this decision, which could have set my family in such a phenomenal position." Yeah. And so that's what a lot of these kids are doing now. Like there's so many NIL advisors, there's so many coaches at the high school level that are taking the exact same courses that Coach Sean took that are now giving these kids the exact same advice. Of course, they're listening to their parents. There is so much on social media and information and data where these kids have to take into consideration. It wasn't like this 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there just wasn't that much information. on the Reggie Bush taking money on the Reggie Bush situation where it got his Heisman stripped away.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't enough information for these kids to take advantage of the opportunities that they have now. It's not about loyalty anymore, right?
No.
It's business. These kids are they're professionals now, and you got to make and sometimes again, in the NFL, when you get to the NFL, yes, again, you get to sign that guaranteed contract and you can make $750,000, but especially if you're an undrafted free agent, you can get cut the next day. You literally can sign that dotting line and get cut the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are going to feel like, damn, where's the loyalty? There's no loyalty in the business world. There is no loyalty in the professional world of the NFL. I mean, there's a lot of people I talked to back with the Bills that I really enjoyed. I developed personal relationships with, and they got cut in less than a week. Like that's just how it was. That's just how it goes, especially if you're in media. Like it's insane. So these kids are the one great thing about NIL is the fact that these kids are going to be prepared probably now so more than ever for the NFL. Because now all of a sudden when they go through these situations, I think they're going to have a much better grasp and a much better understanding of how business and how the actual professional world works.
Yeah. And I mean, Jay, you make a great point. And I think the key is when you say like it's good to be selfish, and that it's actually that's an interesting point from that perspective, because there are times, right, that we do need to be selfish because it allows us to grow. And we're not talking selfish from a standpoint, because selfish, when we hear the word selfish, I think a lot of us think of it as a negative word, right? Like it has a negative connotation. So everybody goes down this bad path of selfishness. Selfishness is not necessarily negative. There are a lot of times where you need to do something for yourself to allow yourself to progress in a point of life that helps you get to that next level that maybe not everyone else understands. And that is completely understandable. That the idea is, as you go through that period, is how you carry yourself and how you are still, I guess, overall presenting who you are in maintaining the humility and the respect for others as you make those decisions. And that's the biggest key when it comes down to it. And what I think it'd be nice, I think I get where maybe some of these, the media does a really good job at times when we're all talking of portraying something as a negative when really it was just the kid's decision. Look, Peyton Woodyard is a really good example. Peyton Woodyard, he gets to Alabama. He hasn't even played into a fall ball yet. The first game hasn't even been here. He just signed. He went through spring. But in the end, he made a decision based on what he felt was best for him, the route he wanted to take, maybe being away from home. Could be a whole bunch of things, and I'm not going to necessarily speculate all of them, right? But in the end, is that decision a bad thing for him, a good thing? We don't know, but in his mind, it works what's best for him and makes him the most comfortable right now. I'm not going to slap his hand for it. I'm not going to give him negative. I'm going to wish him the best because, he went about it the very best way he could. He did it respectfully, and there was no negativity. There's no shit talk to Alabama. Yeah. He's not giving them the finger. There's no bad. He's not burning bridges. A key word, burning bridges. That phrase, something to remember. These guys, not a lot of them are burning bridges. Maybe Bond didn't necessarily do this the right way on his end. I will say he probably could have gone about it a little bit better. But at the same time, if that's what's best for him, okay, we wish you the best. We hope you success. And continue to hold yourself to a standard even when you're done with football. And that's the beauty about staying in the guys who did stay with the program, is that they have a lot of belief in who they develop relationships with and the guys around them. And they believe in this so much, and you see it with a lot of the players who play at Alabama, get done playing, is that the standard's not just upheld from a football field standpoint, but it's upheld through life. And that's the key, man. That's probably one of the most beautiful things that attracts me to Alabama, from all the things of playing in the Pac-12. Tyrone Willingham, for all the people who wanted to give him a hard time of not being as successful as he needed to be at Washington, one thing I'll tell you this, as a developer of young men, which is the key of football, because football ends and then you become, whoever it is you're going to become. his biggest thing is not so much the results, but the results of who you were as a person. And at the end of the day, what does your dash say? Again, Stephen Wilkes used to say this all the time, right? My defensive back coach. He goes, what's your dash going to say at the end of the day? And that's, you can bring that into a program that Washington was going through its ups and downs for so long. There was my respect, and that's what attracted me. And I think that's what attracts me even more to Alabama, is that standard is ingrained as soon as you put that A on. If you think Peyton Whittier's not going to hold himself to a higher standard, that's not true. He's gonna take that with him to Oregon. Good for him. I wish him the very best success. The same thing with Caleb Downs. Each one of these guys, you know what I'm saying? So I love what Alabama has and what its foundation is there for, and allows these players to be in life after football. They're going to be great football players. We're going to have an amazing team. But regardless of that, what the product that's put on the field, but also off the field as human beings, right? And Saban does that, and I think DeBoer continues to follow that path.
All I ask is this: as fans, don't be hypocrites, because then we're Tennessee people. We're Tennessee fans. Mm-hmm. Don't beat up Isaiah Bond for taking, if Alabama's giving him 30,000 and Texas offer him 130, and we mad at him that he's gone. Stop it, man, because you'd have done the same thing, right? That's all I ask. Don't think like a 35, 40, 25, 80. Think like a 19-year-old kid, right, who come from very humble beginnings. That's all I ask. Don't let your fandom turn you into a hypocrite, because I love the University of Alabama. It hurts me every time somebody lose. But if somebody offer a kid $3.5 million, brother, you should leave. I'm telling you, you should leave. Right? You stay, you was a fool, right? Let's be honest. Let's be real, man. Let's stop with the blind Bama-ness. Come on, man. If Texas is giving money like that can change my life at 17, 18 years old, and my mama ain't got to work no more, then brother, I'm sorry, fan. I got to go.
Hell, depending on how, depending how it is. I mean, this is soccer, so this is different. But these kids, I mean, normally they have to go through the academy stage, and depending on the situation, I mean, it's different. But there was a kid that was 16, 17 years old, got paid £800,000 for the year. He took, again, he decided to turn it in, made some smart investments. Yeah. I mean, the dude, he quit soccer or football the next year. And now all of a sudden we look at 10 years later, that dude has a $30 million net worth because he was able to make the right investments. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of these kids here in college, we're not even taking this into consideration. What if they know what they're doing with that money instead of just spending it all blindly? If they know what they're doing with that money, they may not even have to play professional football again in their life.
Yeah.
Like, this is a life-changing money that creates so many opportunities for these guys.
Real quick, Coach Jay, and I'm gonna be quiet. You said who's old school, Adam. You don't know these people. Ask from appetite, respectfully. Jalen, what if I told you Jalen Miro come from a military family whose daddy was very high and doing very well, so he may not need the money. Ty Simpson, one of the highest paid coaches, his father in the state of Tennessee at that level, so he may not need the money. Arch Manning, do I really need to speak about Arch Manning? They might not need the money, Adam. What if you come from the hood again? Your mama working 2 jobs. You got 4 siblings. She make $13 an hour, and you playing football, making everybody else rich besides yourself. And another school comes along and say, I'm gonna give you $400,000 if you just come over here and play ball. I got to go.
Yeah.
You're not thinking clearly, brother. You being a fan right now, a fan of a university, and that's okay because I'm one. Right? But I know how it is to eat ramen noodles for dinner while you eating steak and shrimp. I know how I feel to wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? And you got to wear the same tennis shoes for about 7 months, 7-8 months, and they tore up, the bottom coming off. You're using Elmer's glue to glue the bottom on because you're nervous. You don't want nobody to know, right? Mm-hmm. While you getting brand new Jordans every 60 days, right? Yeah. This is the reality of it, Adam.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So that's not old school, brother. It's just some kids need it way more than others. And that's all it is.
And that's why Arch Manning is I see a comment on Arch Manning. That's why he's taking his time. He doesn't have to go anywhere. He doesn't have to transfer and rush time because guess what? He's in a very comfortable position. His dad Cooper Manning is a very very wealthy businessman. He's got Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks in the league in terms of definitely in terms of net worth. Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion. His dad played in the NFL. His dad was a Hall of Fame quarterback as well. And Arch, so like he can just sit. He can honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Again, next year I expect him to be the starter. But if he somehow some way loses out to the job and he doesn't get that opportunity into his 4th year, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he stays all 4 years and say, you know what, I'm in a very comfortable position. I don't need the money. And even then, I still got a bunch of people that want me because of my NIL value being one of the highest. Well, currently right now, I do have the highest NIL value out of anybody. So I'm in a very comfortable position. I don't need to rush and go to the NFL. Well, I can just sit right here, develop, and maximize my full potential under one of the best quarterback whisperers in the country, in Steve Sarkisian. But most kids, they can't afford that opportunity. When they're seeing their parents and they're seeing their siblings struggle, right? Like my mom, my mom still to this day, she loves her job, her job. She's a principal. She loves her job. But damn it, she complains almost every single day, right? Sometimes you can see there are stressful days. You can see the stress, right? You can tell that she's a little bit tired, but she's going to keep going. She's going to keep grinding and keep hustling because she loves her job. But if I was in a position where I'm like, you know what, Mom, I understand you love your job, but I just got paid. I just got a $2 million NIL deal.
Yeah.
For Lamborghini or Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to work again.
Yep.
You don't have to do that. I'm now giving her the choice or the option to work or not. If he wants to work, that's up to her. But if she feels like it's too stressful, she can fall back and lean towards me because now I'm the breadwinner of the family. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these parents, they're not in a position to continue on like that, man. Life is very stressful, especially for these kids that have to. The pressure it is for them to carry the family on their back. They don't got time for 3 to 4 years and wait to get to the league, and they end up being 4th or 5th or 6th round picks. They don't have time for that. When they're making again. Some of these kids are making just as much NIL money compared to if they would have signed a contract by being a 5th, 6th, 7th, or even undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
So they're taking advantage. Sometimes you got to take advantage of the opportunity.
Brother, all I say is this, and I ended with this on mine. If you can't understand what I'm saying, then you've never been hungry enough. Your refrigerator's never been empty for real. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you truly don't know what struggle is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because if you did, you clearly know why some of these kids, not all, but some of these kids take the money and wave bye-bye. And that's a fact.
Yep, I agree with you on that, Coach Sean. I mean, and that's the thing about it too, is like we can't sit there and continuously blame the kids. And at the same time, I will say this is I do see where a lot of the kids who don't choose to leave, they do see, I think, a further down the line, a little bit more success of the brand, right? Especially with Alabama. I think that brand, we've heard it talked a little bit about it before. I mean, a lot of guys actually have talk about it. And shoot, I know there's a couple guys in the chat who've played, and they know what that brand can do for you down the line. So maybe you do take a smaller NIL here, and you just completely rely on the fact of like, I'm going to make my connections, I'm going to build myself, and I'm going to continue to uphold this amazing legacy that I know from a standpoint of life, all the opportunities it presents me, which we see right now with a lot of the players who have stayed, and I love it, man. I love that aspect of Alabama. But Coach Sean's right. I think for me and Coach Sean, at least, I think the end of the evening has come. I know
Coach Jay, you gonna chill?
We'll wrap it up for a bit.
I'm about to get out. I'm about to get out. I know I got to eat something. I just got home. And so I know I'm about to cook up some food, man. I'm about to get the grill popping a little. I know it's a little dark, but I'm still about to get the grill open. It's finally hot.
No, Adam, and I didn't bash ramen. I ate that my whole freshman year. I'm just saying you don't want that to become your delicacy every night.
It's an
Wow.
unhealthy meal, man. Unless
Yes.
you're getting the actual ramen. You're getting the
Yes.
not to get out the noodles. You're getting the actual good stuff.
Actual ramen. Yeah. 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 It's tough, man. Listen, guys, we appreciate you guys as always. Good, healthy, fun discussion. Appreciate you, Adam, and everybody who had good, healthy points. A-Watt always bring it. Steven, all these guys do a great job. OG Ephraim, you guys are absolutely awesome, man. It's good that we able to vibe and learn from one another, man. It's freaking awesome. That's why you guys are what you are, man. Shout out to Coach Jay Merrill. Shout out to Coach Jay. Coach Jay, we've been missing you, bro. I want you to
I
come
know,
on the
man.
show on the channel. We had a really good pop on the. Oh, wait a minute. We got Lisa Fitzhugh, the
Thank you,
most
Lisa.
healthy. Lisa, thank you from all of us for that $10 super chat. Great explanation of reality for most of these kids and families. All facts. It's an ugly side to it. All facts, Lisa. If you want to
Hey,
get in shape, you better holler at Lisa Fitzhugh, and that's a
that's right,
fact.
man. We talking about some of this food right now. You guys want to go check out some good stuff? Check out Lisa Fitzhugh. Tell you what, there's some good stuff there. She man, Lisa's feeling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. We thank you guys, man. And
Yeah.
I was trying to tell Coach Jay we was on my channel, we was on Ty's channel. We all gave you love, Coach Jay. Everybody was asking where you was at. We gave you big love, bro.
That's right,
And
man.
hopefully we do it again. You'll be present. We had a good discussion. And we appreciate everybody undefeated until tomorrow. I might not be here tomorrow. My daughter has an event.
Oh,
If
got you.
my girl go, I might not have to go. But if she don't go, then I'll definitely have to be there. Daddy in the front row. You know how that go, right?
Yep.
You know how that go, Jay Merrill.
Oh,
Ain't got no kids, do
yes.
you, Coach Jay?
No,
Bruh, it's time to get the skeet on. It's time.
no,
It's time, bruh.
nah. I told you, man. See, you weren't here. A lot of the chat that they were present because they were asking me the same question. Like, man, when you gonna have some kids? I'm like, nah, you won't see me have kids for a long time, man. No, I got PTSD from my nieces and nephews. PTSD. Those are the closest I have to children. Running around.
I
Jake
love.
know what it is.
I'll tell you, man. I love being a dad, and just
Yeah,
for
man.
that, real quick. Let me give a quick shout out because I do love my kids so much. Adeline, I love you. Keep kicking ass in volleyball.
Adeline.
Jax, you know you're strong, buddy. Keep getting it, and they know you're smart. You're gonna get that spelling down. It's gonna be all good, buddy. And
with a
Ava,
name like Jax, you gonna be a
Jax.
baller.
Oh, he's gonna be a baller. He's gonna
Yes.
be a baller. He's gonna be going. And Ava, my little one, you are so
Ava.
beautiful and that cutest little baby. And I just love you so much. So to my 3 kids, I love each and every one of you and know how
That's a
much you
fact.
mean.
We
Dad.
love you. We all love you. You know what I mean? If you can to Jay Merrill, we definitely got love for you. Shout out to being a daddy. Shout out to Coach Jay getting the skeet on at some point and becoming one. You know what I mean?
The only baby I got is my dog. That's my baby. That's my child. And she costs way too much. Way too much.
Yes. Roll Tide
Shockingly.
Patriot Life. Much
Roll
love to
Tide,
Patriot
brother.
Life, man. Look, till tomorrow, man. Much love to y'all boys, man. And we about to introduce y'all to our friend. I get this from Coach Jay and Ty, and it is the spinning wheel of doom.
Oh.
Roll Tide to you all.
Roll Tide.
And it spins.